This is a chainsaw, arguably one of the most iconic tools of the 20th century. But only a few people know its true history, because this tool was never meant to cut down 200-year-old oaks within minutes. In fact, it was invented for surgery. Surgery on pregnant women, if you can believe it. This is the weird and often unlikely story of how a medical instrument from 1785 became a battlefield tool and in turn survived 2 world wars and ended up in your garden shed. It's one of the wildest origin stories of any tool I ever came across. Let me show you. The year is 1785. The place is the Scottish Highlands. Two surgeons, John Aitken and James Jaffray, are facing a problem that has killed mothers and babies for centuries. In complicated childbirth, the baby sometimes can't pass through the pelvis, and in the 1700s, there are no C-sections, no modern medicine, no anesthesia. The only option was a procedure called a symphysiotomy, manually widening the pelvic bone with a knife, through cartilage and bone. It was slow, agonizing, and often fatal. So Aitken and Jaffray designed something new. A flexible saw, a thin chain with small serrated teeth that could be wrapped around bone and pulled back and forth. It cut faster, it was more precise, and it saved lives. In fact, it was not very different from modern survival chainsaws like this. This was the world's first chainsaw, and it fit in the palm of your hand. Now, you might think this is where the story goes straight to the forest, but it didn't. For over 100 years, nobody looked at this surgical tool and thought, you know what, that could cut a tree. It took a world war to change that. But let's start from the beginning. For almost a century, the chainsaw stayed in the operating room. Then, in 1830, a German engineer by the name of Bernhard Heine took Aitken's idea and built something new. The Osteotome. A hand-cranked device with a chain of tiny cutting teeth spinning around a metal guide. Still a medical tool built for bone surgery, but for the first time the chain didn't just pull back and forth, it moved in a loop. That one change is what made everything that came after possible. It took another 75 years before someone looked at that spinning chain and thought that could cut a tree. In 1905, a man in San Francisco named Samuel Bens filed a patent to fell giant redwoods with a chainsaw. Then came Andreas Stihl. Yes, that Stihl. In 1926, this German engineer built the first electric chainsaw. 3 years later, a gas-powered version. But even these were so heavy that one person couldn't use them alone. You needed 2 men just to carry them. World War II changed everything. The military needed massive amounts of lumber for barracks, crates, ships, bridges, and so on. Chainsaws were mass-produced for the first time, redesigned, made lighter with new magnesium alloys and compact engines. And when the war ended and millions of soldiers came home, they brought something with them. Mechanical skills, industrial know-how, and a country that desperately wanted to be built. Within just a few years, the first one-man chainsaw hit the market. Lighter, cheaper, an absolute game-changer. In the late 1940s, the GIs are coming home from the war. And America needs houses. Millions of them. And for the first time in history, a single person with a portable chainsaw could process more timber in a day than a traditional crew with axes could. The American housing boom, the suburbs, the dream of home ownership, was built on many things, but the portable chainsaw was definitely one of the tools that made it physically possible. So, the chainsaw today stands as a testament for human ingenuity. What started as a somewhat simple surgical device, a chain with saw teeth, became one of the most important tools ever made. Thanks so much for watching the video. And if you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps a lot. Thank you.